adult content with school. Those worlds are colliding, and there's this disconnect. Now you have chaos because we have the adult content world and we have schools marrying together, and we can't have that. That's chaos. I just reviewed a story over on Birdlinks about a teacher who was fired when it was discovered that they produced pornography. And now that the teacher's been fired, he's coming back and he's saying, "Hey, I want my job back." So he's suing to get his job back. And that story gave me the idea to film this video for those of you out there who are either working in education or either thinking about getting an education, and you have some kind of connection to the adult film industry. Perhaps you're thinking about getting a sideline and OnlyFans, something like that. Or perhaps you've already got an OnlyFans account or something like that, and you want to become a teacher. So this video is for you. So I want to give you three reasons why you can't work in education and produce adult content. Okay? And they all begin with D. First one is there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect. When we talk about school, me as a principal, I would discipline students, and teachers would also discipline students for inappropriate conversations. Students would be reminded about school appropriateness. Okay, so there is a way that we all are expected to conduct ourselves at school. There are things that are appropriate for school, and there are things that are inappropriate for school. And when you introduce this element of adult content, let's say you have a staff member, a teacher, a counselor, a nurse, someone who works in the school who is producing adult content, and it is known by a majority of the people who attend school, who work at the school. Now you have a disconnect because now you're marrying adult content with school. Those worlds are colliding, and there's this disconnect. Now you have chaos because we have the adult content world and we have schools marrying together, and we can't have that. That's chaos. And as principals, we don't want chaos. Everything about a school should be planned out, thought out. When a teacher's teaching, they teach from their lesson plan. So we want organization when we talk about a school. And the reason that we plan things out, we have organization, is so that students can freely accomplish the mission, so that they can learn and grow. That's what schools are all about. Now, I'll tell you, you may not like all of these reasons, but I'm trying to explain this to you the best that I can. 3 reasons why you can't work in schools and produce adult content. All right. So that's number 1. There's a disconnect. There's a standing disconnect, and we can't have that. That's going to affect student learning. Next up, number 2, if you're a teacher and it's found out that you produce adult content, it diminishes your effectiveness as a leader in the classroom. It diminishes your effectiveness as a leader in the classroom. Here's how. If it's discovered that you produce adult content, I'm telling you, if you work in the adult film industry, you're producing content, society judges you. Society judges you. Right or wrong, you are judged by society. So society is going to say, if you are undisciplined and wild, and it's on in this part of your life, and it's on public display, everyone can see how undisciplined and wild you're living, then people are going to decide, I don't know if I want that person around my kid. I know some of you who are considering this, who want to go out there and make you some money, because you can make a lot of money doing this. I know you're thinking, oh, you shouldn't judge me. It's legal. I'm making money. They don't pay us a lot. I get all that. I understand that. But I'm telling you why it's never going to be okay for you to work in a school, to teach in a school and work in and produce adult content. It's never going to work. You're never going to win that battle. I know that you're probably, if you're watching this, you're screaming at the screen right now. It's just some really good points, and I'll give you that. You probably can make some really good arguments about why you should be allowed to do this, but I'm telling you, it's never going to work, and that's just the way it is. You are judged. There may even be parents who will judge you, who enjoy watching some porn themselves. They may even look you up. It's like, hey, Johnny, what'd you say your teacher's name was? I just wanted to know. Just curious. Their full name? Oh, okay, thank you. So yeah, you'll have people who enjoy watching a little pornography, but for them, it's just like it's dark outside. They're in a private room, and they just keep that there. But when it comes to people who are around their children, the standard is high, and the standard is high for all teachers, right? It's high for all teachers. The parents and community members, they want someone who is. They hold teachers in high regard. They hold them. They want them to be solid in terms of character and their decision making. And definitely we're not perfect, but that's how we are seen. How we are seen as educators by the community members. That's the expectation that we must live up to, because at the end of the day, parents are entrusting us with the education of their children. All right. So, one, there's a disconnect. Two, it diminishes your effectiveness as a teacher in the classroom, because there's always going to be questions about you, about your character, and then about your ability to teach. All of that is in question. And then number one, this is from the principal's perspective, it is a distraction. From the principal's perspective, it's a distraction. Principals don't like distractions. So when people find out, when people find out, you can just imagine or maybe you can't, but there is a domino effect once it's discovered that a teacher working in a school is either actively producing adult content or has produced adult content in the past. There is a domino effect that happens. And the domino effect is you got students, and most of them have phones. They're looking it up, and so now you've got students, and now the conversation is about you and what you've done in this film. And then now you have teachers who they're talking about it, and some don't see the big deal, and then you have some who are like, oh my gosh, we could, think of the children, we can't have this, and how are we going to look once the public finds out and this teacher is allowed to stay. And then you have possibly community members, perhaps they're really upset about it and they want to do something about it. They want to do a protest, want to go to a school board meeting. And so because of that disconnect, there are groups of people who make up that community in that school district. They're going to react in different ways. But because there's that chaos exists, it leads to distractions. It's a topic of conversation, especially if the teacher is still actively producing the content. You're going to have students they're going to say, "Hey, Ms. Jefferson, that was a nice video that you posted the other day." Like, we cannot have that. We cannot have that. And so as principals, if we can reduce time spent having those conversations, those side conversations, about adult content, eliminate the conversations or of students discussing the content. Eliminate the emails from community members saying, "What are you going to do about this?" Eliminate the emails or phone calls from parents to say, "I don't want that person teaching my kid." If a principal wants to eliminate distractions, administration, we do not like distractions. And that's what you would be if you're a teacher who also produces adult content. Again, on your own time. You're not using any district equipment. That's your freedom of expression, your speech. That's on your time. But still, it has an effect on the school. How so? Well, number one, it's there's this disconnect that's in the atmosphere, and it causes chaos. It causes tension. Number two, it diminishes your effectiveness as a leader in the classroom. Perhaps you're going to have students question your decision making, question your ability, question your authority, because society, they're in a society that judges you for producing adult content. And then number three, it's a distraction. Principals don't like distractions. If the teacher is in the building and producing adult content, there's going to be energy directed towards that teacher, towards that topic of adult content. And there's just no getting around that. And principals do not want that. They don't want energy spent talking about, the adult content, or community members complaining about the adult content. They don't want that. That's a distraction. There's a mission, and that mission revolves around students learning and growing, not discussing adult content. So those are 3 reasons why you cannot work as a teacher and produce adult content. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think, or not. If I don't want to get anyone in trouble or put anyone out there, but I want to know what do you think about those reasons, and if you have other reasons, go ahead and drop those in the comments section. I think we made a pretty good, compelling argument to those of you who are either thinking about teachers who are either thinking about getting into producing adult content, or who are producing adult content. Maybe you need to stop before it's discovered, because we can't afford to lose good teachers. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget that teachers are leaders.